name is Kara Kenny. I'm an investigative reporter with WRTV Channel 6 in Indianapolis. I've been in the news business for 20 years, if you can believe it, and I've done dozens, if not hundreds of stories about sexual assault and the impact that it has on survivors. We understand that the information that is going to be presented is sensitive in nature and that it could create unpredictable emotions for some. We ask that you find your local resources prior to the video presentations and have a number or website available to your viewing audience if they need help. More Than a Statistic was created to dig deeper into sexual assault, and we hope you learn through this series and leave feeling prepared to help a friend in need, stand up for a victim, understand assault, and are armed with more knowledge on what to do if this situation happens to you or someone you love. This content was designed to be viewed as a series of videos, and they are delivered in order of viewing. You can also choose to view them all together. We encourage this to be viewed as a group consisting of ages around 17 to 24 and hope they produce good conversations and potential involvement in advocacy in your area. More Than a Phone is putting this event together, and their work for survivors of domestic violence led them to speak about uncomfortable topics because violence needs to be talked about to stop cycles. We begin the series with our topic, Listen, and we will be hearing from survivor Jessica Short. Jessica is a survivor, advocate, and HR executive leader. She is the director of employee experience for a national tech company that recently raised a $120 million investment. Jessica has always found that she's a fierce advocate for men and women in the workforce. She holds her master's degree in public administration and works tirelessly to see that everyone has a voice in the workspace.
My name is Jessica Short, and I am a survivor of sexual assault. Through the course of my life, I was raised in a very conservative home. I was the Bible Club president. I did all of the things right through high school, and I didn't really know the world outside of the four walls of what I was raised in. And so when I went to college, I was very excited about the opportunities. So first day of freshman year was so exciting because I was finally free. I didn't have a parent telling me where to go or what to do. I was 18 and I was ready to take on the world. And so I went to the academic office to register for my classes like every other freshman does, and there was this boy in front of me. And I'd had boyfriends before, but he was very handsome. And I was like, whoa, this boy. And so we started talking, we exchanged numbers, and then we went our different ways. And I was very shocked when that boy did not text me and say like hi or anything like that. I ended up running into him later, and he actually texted me for the first time. And I found out that he was rushing a fraternity. And so I was always, intrigued by the fraternity and sorority life. I thought they were so cool. And he was rushing a fraternity, and I was like, oh, these are going to be my friends. They're going to like me. They'll accept me. And I'm going to be with him, so it's going to be great. And so he ended up rushing the fraternity. I started going to their parties. I started hanging out with them. But there was something different about me that they all notated. I was that girl, the girl that everyone talks about, that doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, doesn't sleep with people. And I was proud of that because that's who I was. Not that I didn't want to drink. I just didn't have really a reason to or really want to. And so I always made sure people were taken care of. I was like, okay, so I'm not going to get drunk, but you can get drunk and I'll take you home. I'll make sure you're safe. I'll make sure nothing happens to you. Needless to say, the fraternity loved it because they knew that there was always someone sober that would take care of people. And I genuinely cared about them, and they genuinely cared about me. And so I had this built-in group of guys that were my best friends, I thought. Later on in the year, it was about to be summer, into freshman year, my boyfriend decided that he didn't want a girlfriend over the summer. And I pretty much said, what? Why wouldn't you want a girlfriend? Like these are my friends. We're a couple. And he just decided he was going home for the summer, which I lived in the town our university was in, and he didn't want a girlfriend. And I made a decision, well, you don't have to have a girlfriend, but I'm not leaving all of these friends. Like, these are my friends. These guys love me. They protect me. They care about me. Why would I not be friends with anymore just because you're leaving town? And so that summer, I spent an entire summer hanging out at the frat house, spending time with these guys. Nothing ever happened bad. I was still that girl that everyone talked about, that was so sweet and so kind and cared about people. Until one night, I got invited to an on-campus apartment by a gentleman who was like, hey, we're going to have a bunch of the guys over. We're going to watch movies. We want you to come. And so I was like, oh, yes, I want to come. Of course, all of these people I cared about and I thought would protect me and, really, really knew me. Like, why? Yes, they want to hang out with me. That sounds great. And so I'll never forget that day. I was so excited because I had a brand new jeans skirt that I just bought with my own money because I had a little summer job. And I remember getting ready to go over there. I was so excited because I hadn't seen some of the people that I was told were going to be there. And I'll never forget walking up those stairs of that apartment complex. And I remember the carpet was green. And I had this gut instinct that told me, stop, don't go. And I was like, no, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. But everything inside me told me something was wrong. And I didn't listen. I continued up the stairs and knocked on the door and I opened the door. And still that gut instinct was there, but I just thought it was nervousness. I thought, oh, it's nerves, it's fine. Like I haven't seen some of these people in a while, it'd be great. The door opened and there were two people there, the guy that invited me and a friend. And immediately I knew something was off. I knew something was wrong. But I couldn't put my finger on it. I'm like, wow, this is weird. Like I was told a group of guys were going to be here. I was told a group of girls were coming. I was told all these people were going to be here. And so I immediately went to the bathroom. I was like, hey, can I use your bathroom? And they were like, yeah, it's fine. And the guy that invited me, I trusted him. He had hung out with me all summer. He was super nice to me at the frat house. He never had any reason for me to think that I was in danger or something bad was going to happen to me. So I used the restroom. I came back and I sat down and I asked for some water because I didn't drink. And I remember him saying, hey, let's go in here. We'll go ahead and start the movie and, they'll be here in a little bit. And me being naive, I said, sure, why not? I trusted him, right? Should have been fine. So I'll never forget going into that room and immediately sensing I'm in trouble. Something's going to happen to me, and this is not good. And so long story short, that is the night that I was sexually assaulted. The door was locked. I quickly was pinned down. My clothes were ripped. And I remember bits and pieces of that night, from having his hands on my throat and me screaming as loud as I could, but no words coming out of my mouth. I have never felt the pain that I felt that night, and from someone I trusted and thought cared about me and would never do any harm to me. So quickly, after that happened, I woke up early the next morning. I don't know if I blacked out or if I was drugged. I'm still unsure of what exactly happened that night because I only remember bits and pieces. I woke up and no one was there. I had been discarded, laying there with no clothes on. I quickly jumped up and viewed my surroundings. I put my clothes back on. I'll never forget, my skirt was ripped. I had all the way to the seam, but I didn't have anything else to put on. I ran out of the apartment, ran down the stairs, and got in my car. I put it in reverse, and I'll never forget, I felt like I was running for my life. I almost hit the car behind me when I was in reverse, and I remember getting out of the car and making sure that car was okay, but then checking my surroundings because I thought someone was chasing me. I got in my car and I went home. When I got home, I realized what happened to me. I took my clothes off. I put them in the trash. I got in the shower. I cleaned the filth that had happened to me. I laid in my bed, and I'll never forget putting my head in that pillow and screaming as loud as I could. Why me? What did I do to deserve that? Why did that happen to me? I knew better. I knew my surroundings better. I was taught better. What did I do? And so I laid in that bed for 3 days. My best friend at the time, she kept texting me and I wasn't responding. And she's persistent. She's one of those, she's gonna find you if she can't find you. And so she showed up at my house. She came into my room and in her words, I looked dead. She was like, "What is wrong?" She climbed in my bed that day and I just bawled. And I told her every detail that happened to me. And she's like, "You have to get help. You have to tell someone." And I said, no, you can't tell anyone. I came from a very religious family. I was in places I wasn't supposed to be. I was told I shouldn't have hung out with fraternity people. I shouldn't have hung out with people who drank. I should have been better than that. And I had shame. And I had guilt that happened to me. And I let someone do that to me. And so I made her promise, do not tell anyone. No one. You can't tell anyone this has happened. No one can know these details. I went into protection mode of myself. And she promised. And still to this day, she's the only person who knows every detail. Now, after that night and those 3 days and that conversation, I moved on with my life. I said, I'm never telling anyone. No one's ever going to know this happened, because then I have to admit that I did something wrong. And I didn't do anything wrong. He did something wrong, and no one will believe me. And so a couple weeks later, I actually started having some pain. That was unusual. And I went to the hospital, and my parents were with me. My parents were not aware that I was sexually assaulted. They had no idea any of this had happened to me. And they did an ultrasound and some things because the pain was very odd. The doctor asked if I wanted the good news or the bad news. And I said the bad news. And they said, "Well, your appendix is about to burst, but we can't take it out the way we want to because you're 10 weeks pregnant." And that is when my family, my mom and my dad, found out that I had been sexually assaulted, and then I became pregnant from that sexual assault. And so as you can imagine, being 19 and pregnant after sexual assault, it can be destroying of your world. I came home, I went back to my parents' house, and the word spread. People started finding out that I was no longer in college, that I was pregnant, and that I was saying I was sexually assaulted. No one believed me. Everyone said that I randomly got drunk one night and got pregnant and was hiding the name of the person who was going to be the father of my child. That rumors were around of this person's name that could have potentially sexually assaulted me, and he would never do that. He would never say those things. He would never do that to a person, so why would I say that? Well, when the baby comes out, then we'll know whose it is. She'll finally tell the truth of what happened to her. And the only person who believed me was my best friend. My own sister even spread rumors through my college of what happened to me, that I wasn't assaulted, and eventually I would tell my parents the truth. Still to this day, she apologizes profusely because she didn't believe me. And she knows the pain of the last 15 years of my life as I've overcome this situation. And so, long story short, I met an incredible man when I was pregnant, and he loved me and my daughter, and I chose to have her. I chose to raise her into a beautiful young lady through this circumstance, and we have a beautiful family from it. And so a couple of things that I want the people watching this to know are, number one, if you've been sexually assaulted, you're not alone. Man or female. It happens to both genders. It does not discriminate. And I believe you. And someone will believe you. Number two, you are not dictated by your sexual assault. I am a senior director of human resources for a multi-million-dollar tech company. My sexual assault did not define my future, nor did it define my daughter's. And it doesn't have to define yours. And if you haven't been sexually assaulted, be the advocate that we need. That was my best friend, who believed me, who championed me, who cried with me, and who ultimately knew that I was more than a statistic.